We are back, and I am here with my brother, Mark Mandel, going inside a creative challenge. We're about past the halfway point. Give us a snapshot of how things are going for the Slow Walker Ranch story.
As a matter of fact, rather than being frustrating, it's greatly relieving to me what this process is awakening in me in my writing. But I'm in a place that I actually want to be, but I might not have known I did when I started this.
How attached were you to this being about slow walking, or, how attached were you to any of the things that you thought you might be doing in the beginning?
I'm still attached to all of that because I know I'm going to be writing in that, let's call it my speculative universe. But what comes out of that, I'm surprised by it right now, and I'm kind of delightedly, if that's a word, surprised by it. But what I'm finding that's happening that's greatly pleasing me is that I'm getting back to a point that I remember when I was far younger, when I was reading and writing all the time, and this is kind of like, oh, now by this point in this fourth session, that's coming back to me. Oh, I'm back there again. I'm rediscovering who I am based on my memory of who I was younger, and then I look back over the, I don't know how many intervening years, whatever that adventure was, which was quite delightful for me, and it's coming back to me, and it's a great relief. Cool. I'm feeling adolescent again. How cool. Oh, the arc of time and infusing my older, more mature sensibilities with all that energy, and like, fuck, I didn't know that could happen. And it's been growing over these sessions.
Do you think of yourself as like a time-traveling observer, reporter?
Crossing over and being able to look and stay connected between these different times and universes, and being able to make use of it because I'm more mature than I had been. That's not a bad analogy. Time travel, multiverse travel.
Yeah, the other thing that I am aware of, having, interviewed many, many artists, I believe that art connects us to ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And also the awakening the energies of our youth. I think that as children, it's very natural for children to be very open and creative and energetic. A lot of the process of maturing, unfortunately, can have the effect of grooming that creativity, the wildness, the curiosity out of us. And so whenever we have the opportunity to get creative, I think that maybe rather than saying, is this me becoming senile and regressing, it could
right.
Oh, I'm connecting to the unbridled creativity of my youth, and I'm tapping into that, and it's a wonderful feeling.
As people get old, it might be a returning back to what we really are, infusing our lives more with this creative, joyful, imaginative, feeling-oriented spirit. I think you're exactly right, and that's why I love what you do around creativity and helping people to mine it and delve into it together.
Maybe we can shift gears and hear a couple examples of what you are coming up with, the ways that this story is revealing itself to you.
I've taken my notebook to a local park and just started writing. But today, I don't know why, I wrote it from second person, you. And I had so much fun doing it. And I think I have a complete little bit that might even be a short story. It's a little under 500 words. Maybe we can somehow make it accessible to people watching this installment, and I'd love feedback. But I'm quite pleased with it. I like experimenting with different viewpoints. For me to exercise, what is it like if you get angry? What do you do with that? I'm very curious to see how it lands with other people, because it is from the second person viewpoint. And to me, that's a much harder point of view to write from than the other two.
Can you say more about why you find that difficult?
It's not that common to write from the you viewpoint, but I just myself haven't experimented that much with it.
There is an interesting life lesson, is that having been in lots of self-development groups, the difference between you and I can be a way of avoiding personal responsibility or taking personal responsibility. So it's one thing to say, when you do the dishes and your roommate doesn't help.
Right.
Maybe you live alone and you don't know what I'm talking about. And really, when I say, I know what it's like when I do dishes, you can hear the difference between responsibility there. So do you notice anything about that in your writing?
I know exactly what you're talking about. You can be like that, like it's a lens or a step in between that makes it more palatable. But it's a different feel, a different quality, and I like exploring that. It's like another way of looking at myself. Point of view in fiction, and probably in a lot of other arts, is fascinating, because when we look at ourselves, point of view informs us in all kinds of ways. So why not investigate it and see how that lands for ourselves and others?
I see this also as these are the colors that you have to paint with as a writer.
Yes.
Do you have any other examples like this?
There was one incident where something rather frustrating happened. I've been trying to practice with that. The anger coming up, I thought, you know what? I'm going to have Junior process it in the writing. So the feeling of what I call it, the stank of anger, and putting that out on people, Junior was aware that he'd been given feedback that he did that. So I thought, well, I'm going to narrate that with Junior, but also him, like imagining he had either a therapist or friends who gave him that feedback, and him trying to incorporate that feedback, but not very successfully. I'm almost at the point where I can feel that and like, oh, there's something important here. Look at it, but breathe and take a breath and don't put the stank of anger out at people. Make use of it because there's something important there for you to do. So I think that's fascinating. Like, I'm describing my own, you are describing your own inner process. He is describing his own inner process.
It's fascinating to hear this because this idea that you've brought throughout of slow motion,
exactly,
it does sort of create the sense of how can we examine our own experience as it's unfolding, and the energy of anger is so dynamic within each of us.
Yeah,
and you're right. If we can interrupt that sort of runaway feeling and the automaticness of it and do something like breathe and find some way to bring ourselves back into our bodies.
Yeah.
We can have an experience and impact our own experience, interrupt it in real time. I wonder, since we're just past the halfway mark in this challenge, do you have a sense of, okay, I need to schmickety and then I need to schmack and then, do you have a sense of how does this wrap up?
Yeah, that's very interesting too, because I really don't have that sense. I have the feeling, at least with where I'm at now, where he's at now, I'm at a place where I want to be. Now the writing is flowing through me. What I didn't really know, that I needed to get back to that feeling of writing flow that I had when I was younger. It might even be kind of like as if I had forgotten that I used to be like that all the time. I feel gifted, both by doing these sessions with you, by a lot in my life actually, but that it's come back to me, the feeling of writing flow that I had as a kid, writing longhand or using a typewriter, that's come back to me, and that's the feeling that I didn't know I wanted, that I wanted, now I have. So I fully intend to see if I can publish the results of what comes out of that. We'll see what happens. I believe that I can. He believes that he can.
So it sounds like even if there's more surprises ahead, you're open to whatever shows up.
Actually, I expect surprises. But now, the magic, like we were talking about, being a child, where we're maybe not encouraged, but we're allowed to imagine anything. Good, bad, didn't matter. We could imagine we were lightning. So to come back to that and be, well, I'm going to encourage my creativity and dreaming, and I'm going to try to bring that into other people's lives like you have.
Is there anything important to say that helps you kind of anchor this moment for you?
This is so valuable, and I didn't really expect it, truthfully, that it would be that valuable to me. So my brother's persistence and openness, really, of feeling, because I've observed that for many decades now, but doing it in a way I kind of had to force myself to do, and I think you kind of had to encourage me along in your way of doing it, that it's very important. So what I would like to anchor for me is to continue doing that, whether with you and others to do that too, whether with my brother here or anyone you can find in your life that will encourage you to grow, to dream, to express what you're really feeling. Really, when feelings are felt, if we can find safe way for yourself and others to express that emotion completely and then release. That's one of the anchors that I know is going to go forward.
Well, I think that you said it well, is that you're by doing this, you're giving a gift to yourself. Thank you again. And as always, you can see each episode appear easier if you subscribe to the Creative Engagement YouTube channel. And always, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.